Dustin Tibbetts, financial advisor, back with you here again for Jazz After Dark. It's kind of the segment we call it here, where we're tasting different bourbons and teaching you something. Today, we're going to continue with our study where we did the other day about someone who pauses their investments during a 10% downturn or someone that maybe just stays the course. Well, today we're going to say it a little differently. We're going to say, all right, someone stays the course, always does $200 a month. And then we're going to say, well, if the market falls over 10%, investor B puts in $225 as long as we're down at least 10%. And then investor C is a little more aggressive and has a little more money, and he's going to do, or she's going to do, $250. So we're going to look at the difference in returns here using the data from the SPY, the granddaddy of all ETFs. And before we do that, we're going to start with, Widow Jane. Okay, yeah, I've had this before. Widow Jane actually had at the Chateau Elan in Georgia. Really cool place. At the Bar Louie. Of course, I had to go there. Named after Louis Armstrong, right? I don't really remember it much, but definitely get the orange and cinnamon in there. A little bit of caramel. Maybe a little vanilla. I do like Widow Jane. I remember liking it. I just haven't had it in a while. Okay, let's get started. What we do is we go like this. Okay, so there's going to be 3 investors in our study. We just mentioned $200 a month, regardless of what happens. $200 a month, regardless of what happens. However, if the market's down more than 10%, $225 during those drops, as we'll call them. And the aggressive person, just aggressive because they have more money, $250 during the same drops. So here's what we got. Investor A, regular investor, invests about $72,000. It's really $72,200, but it rounded up. So got a steady, plain Jane kind of investor. Investor number 2, and only invests $1,250 more dollars. It tells you how rare, we talked about it in the last video, how rare these market declines of over 10% are over the course of a lifetime, right? They do happen. And then the aggressive investor actually invests $74,300. So another $2,300 for the total investment. So you can see it's not a lot of difference. We're only talking $25 when this person is just doing $200 constantly. So another interesting fact might be the total number of shares purchased. There is a bit of a difference here, right? We've got an extra $25 or $50, so we would expect to see more shares, which means that their average cost per share should decline as the person is investing more. No different than me buying this glass, right? If for those of you, the real basic thing, if I buy this glass for $1 from my wholesaler and I sell it for $2, I make $1. Let's say I have 10 glasses up for sale. The wholesaler comes to me and says, we're having a special. These glasses are now 80 cents. I say, well, I would like to buy 10 glasses. I have 10 glasses at 80 cents, and I have 10 glasses that I paid $1 for. My average cost is going to be 90 cents per glass. So on average, when I sell the glass for $2, I've made $1.10. And that's all we're talking about for the real beginners out there that wonder what the heck this is. $200 a month, your average cost per share is roughly $170 a share over the lifetime, which sounds pretty freaking sweet right now if you've seen where the SPY is at. You save $1 if you put another $25 in on downturns, and a total you save $3 if you put another $50 in. So there is a slight difference there. Now, on a return basis, it gets kind of interesting because it doesn't look like a lot, but if you put in $200 a month, regardless of what happens, your return was 924%. Healthy. No one's complaining, right? 924.4 to be exact. If you put in a few extra bucks, your return was more, but it was 12% more for only putting in $25. Now, it's 12% over the course of 30 years, right? We didn't include 2025 yet because it's not a full year. And if you put in an extra $50 here, you ended up with 947%. In other words, 23% more over the course of a 30-year time period. Not quite, but almost 1% a year for only occasionally putting in $50 extra a month. On an annualized basis, it doesn't look very interesting, right? 8.31 versus 8.41, but that's because it's over 30 freaking years there. The final value is more impressive. You put in the $200 a month, you end up with almost $740,000, which is 924% returns. $759 if you put in the extra $25, which, come on, right? What happened? We only invested a few extra dollars, $1,250 extra rounded down there, right? To get a total of, $1,050 more to get a total of almost $20,000 more. Yeah, I'd do that. Right. And that explains, makes sense because of the 900+% return. You go, okay, I'll do that. What's the moral of the story here? We are going to have 10% pullbacks from highs. It is going to happen. If you want to invest in the market, you are going to see that. You see that an average of 0.9 times per year. That's the data. That's not my opinion. And so it's going to be a part of what you do. We have to get the rest of our financial life in order so that when these discounted efforts come along, we have the extra $25. I'll even go a step further. How do you know it's $25? How do you know you shouldn't be putting in $35 or $55? What is the magic number? For everybody, it's different. How much you should invest is not $225. You likely should be putting in some other amount. You may be putting money in your 401k and putting money in your IRA. We don't have to put a whole lot in, right? We got to figure out what your number is relative to your plan. We do great here at Jazz because we actually built out our own planner so that we can figure out for you how this should go. Not anybody else's software, nothing you can get anywhere else. We do it for you, the individual, and hope you'll check us out at jazzwealth.com. The 66th best financial advisor in all of America, according to USA Today, which we didn't pay for that. They did it. They're getting ready to do the study again. Immaturely, we're kind of hoping we fall 3 slots, but we'll see what happens. You enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for watching and just taking a second to learn. I hope you learned something. Adios.